Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and the Setting the Record Straight podcast. I know y'all a little excited. Kai's back. Well, I don't know how long she here, but she back for this episode, right? So, and today, anyway, my name is Vic Slain Hope.
Kai.
Some of y'all don't know Kai. I got some new subscribers, so you still gotta do the name thing. So yeah, man, like it's been a long time. Like I feel like we didn't do an episode in such a long time. And yeah, so we here today and we're gonna be covering kind of like two topics. And one of them is we're gonna be talking about is dating a competition, right? Like it's like going out there courting, dating, trying to find the best suitor. Is it really like a competition today or not? So, and the reason that I came up with this topic was because I was on Clubhouse the other day, and in Clubhouse, we was having this conversation. There was this room, and we was talking about basically people was asking well, it was a bigger topic. It was like, is dating a competition? And in addition to that, are black men worth whatever the competition is? But we gonna kind of like leave that shout out. So we just kind of like want to talk about, it's dating a competition. And then the other side of the conversation that we're gonna have is me and Kai was having a conversation one time, and she kind of like basically told me that hoes save relationships. So I'm kind of interested, to kind of like figure out how, or hear her thoughts. But I also wanted to hear from a woman perspective, because when we had the room in Clubhouse, there were women on the stage, but like the women that were on the stage wasn't really talking. I think like it just became like a competition between men. Like men were like, some men were like, yeah, you need to have this, you need to have that. It is a competition. Some men were saying no. So I just kind of wanted to hear more from like a female perspective, and just wanted us to have a conversation. So yeah, based on that being put out there, do you feel like or I don't want to say today. I guess it's a little different today, but I just want to say overall, do you feel like dating is a competition?
I think competition is a mindset. That's number one, right? But for me, I think dating is a competition. Depending on how you look at it, but for the most part, I think it's a competition. Whether or not you want to compete or not, it is, because you're competing for the attention of one person. Even if you're not actively like thinking of it as a competition, most likely the person that you're interested in, or the person that you're trying to like talk to or build with, probably has other people that are interested in them as well. So when you have a situation like that, people are oftentimes going to compare you to their other suitors, people who are showing interest in you. So whether you want to compete or not, it is a competition. Now, how far you go with the competition is up to you. That's why I said it's a mindset, because you could just walk into a room, decide that, listen, I'm just going to be transparent. I'm just going to be myself. You're going to take me or you're not, or you're going to do more, right? And you're going to try to like make sure that like you're better than all their other suitors, and find out who else they're talking to, and really, make it a point to like, get their attention. So like I said, I think that it's just really like a perspective, a point of view. It's about how much energy you want to put into it. But dating definitely is a competition amongst men and women, especially like I feel like with social media, because people feel like they have so many options. It's nothing to just to scroll on a dating app, on Instagram, or whatever social media platform you use, and look at other people who you might want. You know, and people are so accessible now because of that, right? You don't have to walk down the block in order to interact with a woman anymore, right? You can never um, physically interact with a woman, but as long as you know her Instagram, her DM is always open, right? You always have that option of talking to her, right? Versus in other aspects where you had to be in certain spaces. You know what I'm saying? You had to be in certain circles. You had to be around. You had to catch her. You know. Now all you gotta do is have an IG, and you just DM her, and look, you right there. You know what I'm saying? You have a straight path to her. You know, you could say whatever you want, you could send whatever pictures you want, you could do whatever you want. You know, so
So you said a few things I want to kind of like gauge you in, right? So the options, people feel like they got a lot of options. One, and two, you mentioned, damn, I forgot the other thing you mentioned. Um, damn. So anyway, let's just stick to the option stuff, right? So the DMs, right? I feel like the option thing is kind of like an illusion that you have a lot of options. For example, you gave the scenario about the DM, because think about it, dudes get curves constantly in the DM. So the way I see it is almost like it's the same shit. Like if you walking up to a chick in the street and she don't pay no mind to you and she curve you in the street, because men gotta chase for the most part, right? So if as a man, if you're chasing in the street on the physical form and you get curved, I feel like it's this. I mean, you might. The only thing you I think you can do, you can cover more ground. I think what happens is you cover more ground on the DM, but dudes is getting curved in the DM too. They stay in the request box. The girls is leaving them on scene. So I think it's the same thing that is going on in the DM and in the thing. I just think it's just they just covering more ground. Um, and I wanted to talk about something else. So based on you said something about perspective and perception. Um, damn, I just forgot. But I agree. I think that like I personally think it's not a competition. Um, but like I think it's not a competition, and I think yeah, because I think the way I look at it is it's like I look at it like you do for me, I'll do for you, right? And I think that um like you said, right? I think it's more of a mindset thing. I think it's more of because the dudes that were in this room, like some of the dudes were saying, like, you need to have like they was trying to use self-care, right? Like they was trying to use you need to get certain like you gotta look good, bro. You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta get certain clothes. I guess like some dudes was like, I get certain Jordans because I'm like, yo, bro, like it's one thing, and I was like, it's one thing to groom yourself, getting a haircut and cleaning your nails and taking care of yourself is one thing. I said keeping up with trends is something totally different. And I feel like but that's how so this is just some of the conversation that was being had. Like some dudes were saying that like you're always gonna compete, right? And there was mentioning like trends and like for example, like I hear all the time, people tell me all the time, because I tell them I don't eat booty. I'm not with none of that shit. You feel me? And people tell me all the time, well, if you don't eat booty, your girl gonna cheat on you, or your girl gonna leave you, or you gonna risk, this chick that you end up with doing something because all the women today are into booty play. So I'm just like, and that's cool. Like, I'm like, if and I said, well, this is the whole point of talking to people in the beginning, I believe, right? If a person when you courting people, and this is weird because the way you court now, like I feel like you can ask explicit questions now. I feel like before people never really ask explicit questions, but now people are like, yeah, like how you like it, how you do this, how you do that. So I feel like courting today is like it's almost like this is the questions that we ask. Like those things are important to us now, right? So I feel like when I have those conversations, it's like if a woman, that's why you should ask women in the beginning like what you like and what you're into, because then you could kind of like know how to kind of like thread with it. But the question I have for you is kind of like because you mentioned the mindset, right? So if you are a person who, let's say, for example, that you don't view it as a competition, like you're like, it is what it is. Like if you don't like this or I'm not competing. How do you feel about the people that say like I'm not competing for like nobody's love or I'm not competing to keep you? Like so like what would their stance be like? Where are their standing?
um I mean, I understand it. I understand people that feel that way because partially I feel that way. um I think that people react differently to the mindset of competition, and that's depending on how secure you are within yourself. Meaning, if I'm talking to a man, right, and it is apparent to me that he is talking and entertaining multiple other women, um, some women will go out of their way to ensure that you're going to be with them, right? So they're going to call your phone down. They're going to make sure that you're always spending their time with them. Some people do the thing where they like share locations with each other. They just really like, they're on top of it, right? They're on top of their guy. They're like, he's not going nowhere, like, you know. And then there's other women who get turned off, right? And they decide to talk to other people, and they decide to leave that person alone, right? So everybody has a different approach to competition. Some people are more competitive than others. Some people are more secure than others. Some people have more options than others. Um, so, I mean, I definitely understand people who say, I'm not competing for your love and I'm not competing for your attention, because at the end of the day, this is true. Um, at the end of the day, no matter who you have, no matter what you have, no matter what qualities you bring to the table, if a person does not want to be kept, they will not be kept. If a person is interested in living their best life and they don't want to settle down and they don't want to commit and they don't want to be with one person and they're interested in a myriad of options, they're never going to choose you. You're never going to be the only one. So that's really dependent upon them and their mindset. So I can understand some people coming to the conclusion of, hey, listen, I'm not going to be playing these games with you. Either you're here, you want to be with me, or you're not, you know? So that's real, I think it's all about balance, you know? It's always going to be competition, but what energy is that person putting into you, right? Do you feel like you're constantly having to beg to talk to them? Are you constantly begging for their time? Are you constantly begging to be like the only person that they talk to? Are you constantly begging for that? You know what I'm saying? And if you are, then maybe like you need to, I don't know, like you need to like reevaluate, like your decision making and who you're talking to, because it's like kind of like what you said, right? I do for you, you do for me, right? Like you give me your time, I give you my time. But if you want to give me my time, you want to talk to me 1 week, and then the next 2 weeks you want to be over here and over there with this person and that person, that's fine. By all means, go ahead and do your thing. But I'm choosing not to be a part of that, So
Period.
I get it.
Yo, somebody said, "Where the fuck you been at, man?"
In my skin, I'm chilling. I'm good.
But yeah, so I think okay, I think all right, we getting somewhere. We cooking up, we cooking up. So you said I get it, but I feel like sometimes people mistake like competing, because sometimes it's like I feel like sometimes women have this idea that like I don't gotta compete for a man, and I don't want to use compete it because it's more so like I don't gotta show him. Like, oh, I don't gotta when I don't want to use compete because it's like sometimes it's not even about other women. Sometimes it's just showing your appreciation, right? And I feel like sometimes we get into these situations where like sometimes chicks feel like, well, I don't gotta show him. I shouldn't have to do the small things. I shouldn't have, you know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like we get into this again. I feel like bear with me for a little bit. I feel like we've been raised like that, right? I feel like men been raised since we was young. We've been kind of like taught to like put your shit to the side. Like your feelings don't matter. Like for example, growing up with my sister, right? Like boom, my sister falls and scrapes her knee. Everybody runs to her. They might be like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like they might patch her shit up. They might pick her up. You know that care, that nurture, right? If I fall and scrape my knee, it's like, "Fuck is you crying for? Get up." Right? So from a very early on age, I think that like kind of like men are kind of like taught to like, all right, your shit don't really matter as much as this person feeling matter, right? Like this woman, right? And I think like when we get older, not get older, but I just think like the narrative keeps going in society where it's kind of like sometimes like you have brothers competing, like we have like this, I don't want to use the word competing, but we feel like we have to prove our love. Um, we have to prove our love. And like the sisters kind of like feel like I don't gotta prove my shit. Like I just gotta sit there, look pretty. Not all of them, of course, right? But I'm just saying I feel like there's this cloud, this wave, this air, right? That it's like I shouldn't have to do that. Like I shouldn't have to do certain shit. Like if you wanna leave, leave, right? But it's like I feel like men also be looking for closure. So how do you feel about kind of like so I wouldn't say it's competition because I don't want you to think that it doesn't have to be about somebody else, but it's just about people like nice things. They like to be treated in a certain way. They like, to be appreciated. They like to feel good. And I think everybody likes that. But I think, like, again, we are conditioned to kind of like feel like, well, you good, you got it, you a man, you hold it down. Like, what I'm saying? Like, you don't need all that extra shit. Like, so how do you, yeah, I'm trying to kind of like, I'm not saying it's not always about other people. I look at that as, I don't think that's competition. I just think that's retaining. How do you retain your partner? So I don't want to look at it like, well, if I don't do this, they're gonna leave me, because that's you thinking about somebody else. But more so, I be thinking a little bit in a sense of, well, if you ain't appreciating somebody, then it makes sense for them to like be like, you know what, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So I don't know what word to use. I think retaining, things to do to retain your. Do you believe in that? Like, that you should do certain things to kind of like retain your partner? I don't want to use retain because retain sounds crazy too. But I just feel like people like to feel appreciated.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's just basic, And I think if you're not ready to do that, if you're not in that space to, keep your partner happy or be consistent in your efforts, then you shouldn't date, or you should be clear that you're not in that space of building with somebody. You just want to do you, and that's just it. So yeah, I feel like it's a pretty simple, basic question. If you're not ready to be consistent with your partner and do things to keep your partner around, then maybe you should just be single and just doing you and whatever.
Yeah, my bad. I got kind of like distracted because of the comment. Yo, Don John Doe, chill, man. I know that's Top Gunner. You wilding, bro. Come on. Let's chill out. I know you're a little excited. Just chill. Um, but yeah, definitely. I think like we have to do things for each other. Um, so some of the guys were saying things about like, do you feel like, because you mentioned insecurities, so do you feel like part of competing, and do you feel like there's an air or a level of insecurity in competition?
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
say yeah, because
Competition is a mindset. You pick who your competition is. Nobody else picks your competition but you. You pick your. You could be talking to a person, and you could see them talking to five other women. You pick out of those five women who you feel like is competition. You're not gonna feel like all five of them are competition. In fact, some women you're gonna see, you're gonna be like, "That's who you're talking to? Psh, I'm good," And other girls for a myriad of reasons, and you decide like, okay, that's the person who I need to compete with. That's the person who's gonna give me trouble, and that stems from an insecurity. That stems from you believing that that person has something that nobody else has, right? Or that you don't have, right? So, for example, it could be as simple as this, right? And it doesn't mean that you're like weak and you're like the worst person ever and you're so insecure. It can literally mean this, right? It can mean like I'm talking to a dude and I know he really likes redheads. He really likes girls with red hair. And he's talking to five girls, and out of five girls, there's one girl that he's talking to, she has red hair. I'm gonna be looking at the girl with the red hair because I feel like she has something that I don't have. So I don't care about all the other ones. They're around and they're there, but I don't see them as competition, you know? So it's definitely a mindset. You choose who you compete with. You know what I'm saying? You choose who you feel like is competition. Nobody else can dictate who is competition except you. Even if somebody's like, yo, this person is fire. If you genuinely feel in your heart, like, yo, I'm this, I'm that, I don't care who you talking about. I'm better than this person. Nobody can convince you that. It's within yourself. Nobody could put you up against anybody else, even in an actual competition. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could do a relay race. You know what I'm saying? And you can literally not see nobody else's competition. You coming in, you like, yo, I'm winning this. Oh, her with it, I got this. That's within you. You have to feel that. And if you don't feel that, then it is what it is. But that is also too, I don't feel like being secure. I feel like you have to come to the table being a secure person. But I definitely feel like partners have the ability to make a person insecure. I feel that way. That's my opinion. I feel that way, vice versa. I think the person that you're sleeping next to every single night, the person who you hail up as your partner, as your as your other half, definitely has the ability to make you insecure and make you doubt yourself. And because you doubt yourself doesn't make you weak. Because you doubt yourself doesn't make you crazy. It doesn't make you, that's real. Like, our partners have the ability to like evoke those emotions in us and to make us feel like we are not enough. So yeah,
I agree.
I think competition is a mindset. I think it is depending on you. Not saying that there aren't circumstances where people have that ability, to make you insecure and to say certain things to you and to do certain things to you to make you question yourself.
Hold on. Give me some example. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to get. I don't want to forget. Right. So you mentioned. I definitely agree. But can you give me some examples of something that a partner can say to you that make you insecure or make you feel insecure?
So, for example, if you're going on a date with a guy, or no, or you say you're talking to a dude, you're dating a dude for a long period of time, and he always makes comments about thin women. He's like, I really like girls that are really skinny. Like, oh my God, like I love girls that are skinny. Like, I love really skinny girls. Boom, boom. And you're a woman that's not skinny, right, or not thin. Um, you notice that when you're out with him and a woman who is particularly very thin walks past you, and he looks, he tends to follow a lot of women who on his Instagram page, like a lot of pictures of girls that are very slim. And you're not slim, you know, um, that's a situation where another person has the ability of, making you feel insecure about yourself, right? Now he may tell you, um, yo, I do like thin girls, I do like skinny girls, but I like you, like I like you, like I like, your roles or whatever you may have, or I like the fact that you're not skinny or whatever, I like that you're different, or, I like that too. But you see what he constantly looks at. You see what the reaction that comes out of him when he sees his preference and what he likes, right? So it doesn't matter that you're the difference. It doesn't matter that he made an exception when it came to you. It doesn't matter. You see who he really likes. You see who really gets him going, so you feel away because no matter what, either you're going to go and starve yourself and make yourself really thin, or you're just going to always feel like, I'm not his ultimate preference, I'm not who he really, really wants to be with, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I I could see that, but wouldn't that really kind of like basically go back to the basis of if you felt like you that chick, like then I like ain't nothing could shake that.
Um,
Because I see what you're saying too, right? I guess like for example, like if you keep telling me like if my favorite color is orange, and every time I put orange on, you're like, yo, like that should make you look ugly. Eventually I'm probably gonna like stop wearing orange like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see me altering my the color that I wear based on like if you tell me that like if I but I think I would have to let that sit in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like because for example, I came home and some people say I wear baggy clothes. You know what I'm saying? So I remember when I went to the Adidas stores to buy sweats, and the lady was trying to get me to buy the tight bottom sweats, like the shit that everybody wearing. And I was like, I don't wear that, miss. And I was like, I want the big bottom joints. I was like, where the regular joints at? And she was just like, that's not really the fashion now, like whatever, whatever. And I'm like, miss, I don't care. Like this is what I want to wear. Like I didn't really.
in the 50 Cent music video. Right.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't care. Yo, make sure y'all like the video so it can circulate. But the point is, I didn't really care about certain things. So I could kind of see what you're saying. Of course, we all humans, like so we all gonna have low moments. So it makes sense what you're saying. So matter of fact, scratch the question. I get it. But and that's why I think it's so important for you to be fortified as a person. I think like because people like we live in a society where like whether we want to believe it or not, like people going to judge, people going to shame, People gonna do whatever they do. People gonna have their displeasures. People always gonna have something to say about you. So I just feel like that shit is inevitable. So I think like, yeah, you have to be a strong motherfucker out here, man. You got to be really, really strong because there's gonna be people who gonna talk shit about you. It's always something. Your clothes. Somebody always gonna say something about the clothes you're wearing, about how you look, about how you smell. Like whatever. Like people always gonna say something. Um, but so I think so. Basically, yeah, you agree that it's a competition. But it's also a mindset. I feel like it's not a competition because we about to move on to the next topic. So I feel like it's not really a competition. You just got to be fortified in who you are. One, you got to know who you are. Two, you got to know what exactly it is that you're looking for. Um, and that way is no confusion, right? Like if you know who you are, like nobody can really shake that. If you know you like this and this is what you like, and this is what you're doing, and this is how it is, like you got to just let people know, like it is what it is. Like this is what it is. This is what's going on. If you want that, that's out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but over here, like this is what's going on. Like, what we doing? And just go from there. So I definitely think there's levels of insecurities, like you said, when it comes to competing. A lot of people like talking about the trends are changing, so they want to change with the trends. I really don't care about them. I really don't want to be with a person that chasing trends. Like that shit is just like because you're always going to be following something, and you're always gonna. And when I feel like when you follow trends, it's always a competition. Like when you look at dudes today, everybody wearing the same shit. Like everybody is wearing the same jeans, they wearing the same shoes, they getting the same haircuts, they getting the same everything. So where's like how you even standing out if everybody doing the same shit? So I just feel like there's no individuality, and like you said earlier, I think that the problem with that is about social media. Um, so the next topic is: do you want to say anything last things about this before we move on?
Yeah.
Okay. And the next thing that you said is, I want once upon a time you told me that hoes save relationships. You know, um, and I kind of like I don't know if we really talked about it. I don't know if we really had like a full dialogue because I felt like this would be interesting to have on a podcast. But how exactly do hoes save relationships?
Um, yeah, I remember that conversation. Um, and I think that's applicable to men and women. You know, when I say hoes, this is not gender specific. Um, I think that, you know, when you're in a relationship with a person, you're in a long term relationship with a person. Um, and especially if you're going through trying times with a person, you're going through difficulties, or if that person is just not, you know, things get boring, right? You know, things are like, eh, I know what that person's gonna do. I know what that person's gonna say. I know what they're gonna eat. I know when you really live with a person and you spend time with a person, you learn that person like the back of your hand. You know what time they're gonna wake up. You know how many times they're gonna go to the bathroom. You're gonna know what they're gonna want for breakfast, lunch. You know them. There's no change. You know them. When it becomes consistent like that, it becomes mundane. And then, you know, your eyes and stuff like that, they start to wander. Or a lot of times, you know, people have children, people go through financial stresses. There's different things in relationships that happen that may change the dynamic and may not make you as interested as you used to be. But you still love this person and you still want to be with this person. But, you know, as a man or as a person, you know, when you step out and you have your fun with that other person, you know, y'all able to like, you're meeting a different person, you're able to go out with that other person, you're able to do new things. They're sparking that little interest that you have, that little love tank that you haven't been able to get filled. Um, and it gives you the patience and it gives you um, the strength to push through your own relationship. You know, that's why a lot of times this is real and this is a fact. That's why a lot of times when men leave their mistresses or their mistresses leave them, 9 times out of 10, they're getting a divorce shortly after. Not to go marry the mistress and be with the mistress, but because that outlet that they had, that friendship that they had, that fun that they had when they were with their other person is no longer there. And that's what kept them in that relationship because they were able to have that outlet. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's hard, right, for like people to like accept that and hear that and like feel like that's real, but that's real. The same way um sometimes your friends, could save your relationship. Sometimes just having the ability to go to another person and talk to them about what you're doing, go with the so for example, I may talk to a dude and I love Wu Tang. He hates Wu Tang. He never wants to see Wu Tang. I love Wu Tang concerts. I may have a friend that loves Wu Tang too. So now me and her or me and him is going to Wu Tang concerts together. And we're experiencing that together. And I'm able to feel fulfilled, right? And because I'm able to fulfill whatever I needed to fulfill, I could go home and fulfill my responsibilities. I could go home and be with the person who I chose to be with. Because just because, for example, a hoe, we all know hoes is fun, right? But fun is not life. Fun is not 80% of life. You know what I'm saying? It's not responsibilities. It's not a career. It's not the reality. You may like a woman and she may be attractive and she may be fun, but that's it. That's it. So even when you spend time with her, it's like, okay, we spent our time together, but I ain't trying to be with you. I don't want to. I don't want you to be the mother of my kids. I don't want you to live in my house with me. I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? But you do that little thing that I like, or you're really fun in this aspect, in this way that like my wife isn't. Or when it comes down to sexual stuff, there's things that men do not feel comfortable with asking their wives to do because they're afraid of being judged. Also, there's things that men do not want to ask their wives because they don't want their wives to do it. They want somebody else to do it. Because if their wives do it, they're not going to look at their wives with the same respect. It's a twisted mentality that those folks have, but that's real. You know what I'm saying? They have these sexual urges and these sexual desires, but I like this, but you my wife. I don't want you to do that because I'm gonna look at you different. But I'm gonna go over there with that hoe and I'm gonna do it with her, and I'm gonna fulfill what I need. But just because I did that with her doesn't mean I want to be with her. I want to marry her. I want to have kids with her. She's just fun. Think about it like Carisha and Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Young Miami and Diddy. I don't know if anybody pays attention. I'm not super paying attention to their relationship, but from I watched it because they have a podcast, whatever. From the podcast that I watched, she's the fun girl. He said that, he said I like you. He said we have a lot of fun together. Now, whether that means drinking or dancing or whatever they do together, he enjoys his time that he spends with her. But he got up on that stage and he said, "Yo, thank you, Cassie, for holding me down, having my back." He didn't get up there and say, "Oh, thank you, Carisha, for getting drunk with me and doing that little thing that I like at 2 a.m. in the morning." You know what I'm saying? She fulfills her role, so he go and be with who he really wants to be with. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? That's the reality. So when I say hoes, like again, I'm talking about women right now because I'm a woman who dates men, but that could also be applicable to women who, you know, cheat on their partners or have side dudes or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
So, all right. Yeah, I'm laughing because some was like, "Kind crazy," but now he's starting to like fake agree. He's like, "Oh, Costa some real shit." Like, I guess at first you sounded, he gave it a little time and he started really thinking about it. I guess. And then ultimately he said, "You're right."
Hmm.
Wives do it, but yeah, and he agreed. This dude, he said, "That's a fact about my wife. When my wife do it, I'm gonna look at her a little different." Um,
Twisted mentality, but it's true. A lot of men think like that.
on some real shit, I don't even think like that, man. Honestly, I rather my wife. I think the thing is this. I think men really be thinking like making faces for. I think men really be thinking like, cause honestly, right? I feel like what would really be the thing. It's like a man get with a girl and she just be doing some crazy wild shit, and maybe she presented herself as modest and nice, and I don't really do that. You got the girls that be like, I don't really, and then they just like they got this meme that said like, Shorty said I never did this before, and then she hit you with the two hand slap, whatever, wop wop 3,000. So now you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you say you never did this before. So I think men are more, and I don't want to talk for all men, but I think the average man more so is might be coming from that angle of like, if you kind of like just started doing some wild shit, it makes them probably think like, who else you did this with? Even though you probably shouldn't be thinking about that, but sometimes dudes want to be your first. know what I'm saying? They want to be your first dude
I have a
that,
response.
huh?
That I have a response for that, but
Yeah, so
they probably
sometimes it's like this. Some dudes like that. I feel like dudes like that. Like even if a dude wants to get his ass ate, they be on some, like they want you to be this is your first ass that you ate. Which is it's kind of crazy, and I'm just using that because a lot of dudes nowadays doing a lot of weird shit, right? But hey, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is a lot of dudes like that. I took her virginity. um she did this with me. I put her onto this. I like, I opened her up to this. Like I broke her into this. And then it's like, so when they get a girl, like especially somebody that they're taking serious or they're cuffing, right? Like when they get a girl and you just been, because like you said, you're right. Like certain men, they view women in a certain light when they do certain shit, right? Like for example, you got some motherfuckers that it's like, yeah, like I have disrespectful sex with the sluts. Like, or I'm just saying hypothetically, you got some dudes who be like, man, I'm about to go crazy. I'm about to nut in her hair. I'm not gonna care. Like I'm just going wild out on her shit. And then you got a little more respect for your wife, right? Like you go home and maybe you kiss her a little more, but you won't kiss the slut. Whatever the point is. I'm just hypothetically speaking, right? And then it's like, yeah, like you said, it's kind of like weird and strange, but I think like we just been conditioned, like since growing up, we've been told, like now this new generation is probably gonna grow up a little different, right, with a little different morals. But I feel like the older people, like we kind of like grew up like, all right, hoes do this, wholesome women do this, right? And I think like even though we might like what the hoes do, we don't want to end up with no hoe, right? Because we also been conditioned to be like, we hear it on all the songs. Never
y'all
turn a hoe to a,
love them.
don't
And
turn,
be
don't.
with. Y'all are ashamed when it comes to other men because you do not want to walk down the block with a woman who's been deemed as a hoe. And I say this all the time, right? The world would be a much better place if men just married the hoes that they truly wanted to be with, you know? But oftentimes men will be with a woman who is promiscuous or a woman who is out there. They really love her. They vibe with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of times, I know gender is different, but a lot of times, men will run around and call women hoes and this, that, and the third, boom, boom. But, that's and Kodak Black is interesting. Kodak got a song and he said his song like, you know, um, they said she fuck everybody. Well, shit, I fuck everybody too. You know what I'm saying? And it's a simple line, but if you really think about what he's saying, it's real shit. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about a girl who people's calling her a hoe, and he like, I don't care, I'm a hoe too. She did that, I did that too. You know what I'm saying? Like she did, I shoot, that's my girl. We one and the same. That's my twin. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think it's really stupid and I think it's dumb, but men have this weird fascination with one another. Men have a weird fascination with other men's opinions of them. Um, and yeah, that really stems, that controls a lot of the reasons why men are with the women that they are, because men will be with a woman who, people settle. People pick the smart choice. People pick what looks good on paper, but deep down inside, they be in those
But
relationships
but but
and
but think about it.
they be
Doesn't
miserable.
that doesn't that make sense though? Like think about this. Think about this. Because I feel like I get what you're saying. Like be with the person that makes you feel good overall, right? But think about this, right? Um, it's almost like a side hustle, right? You got your main job and then you got your side hustle. Now you got some dudes, their main job might be legal. It might be it looks good on paper, like you said. It's the legal job, what pays the bills for the most part. It's some legal, legit, looks good on paper. I pay my taxes off this shit. I pay for this, XYZ, we get it, right. And then they might have a little side hustle just to bring a little extra cash. Um, so wouldn't it make sense to set up shop with the woman who has certain morals? Because let's be honest, right? Certain women who are like I grew up, for example, I grew up and like you said, have fun, right? I grew up and like you said, fun is not life. Fun is not going to raise my kids. Fun is not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, so let's just be honest. There's certain women who just have, for whatever reason, right? Maybe they were raped, maybe they were, conditioned this way. We don't know. I don't want to get into the reason why they're doing what they're doing. But let's just be real. There's some women who just don't care, right? Like they're sleeping around, they're doing whatever, 10 guys in a week or whatever, right? It don't even got to be that crazy. But what I'm just saying, there's some women who are not thinking about certain type of a level of morality, right? They don't care. They don't have no shame, whatever. You telling me, let's just say you had a son, right? You telling me if your son came, fuck the son, before I even get into that. You telling me it makes more sense for me to have children, to set up shop, to build my life with a woman who has shown me already that she don't got no values, right? Because today is me, tomorrow is Kenny, the next day is Alfred, the next day or whatever, right? So you telling me I should have children with this woman? I should settle down. I should just. Why would I do that when we possibly might have daughters? We possibly might have sons. What advice is she? How is she going to advise them? And look, that doesn't mean she's going to give him bad advice. I'm just saying that if I'm already seeing where your mentality is now, it's a possibility that you might tell my daughters it's okay, it's all right, like, or my sons, like, it's okay, it's all right to just live on the reckless side. So I feel like it makes sense to not build your empire with this woman. To me, I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Let me answer your question. I'll make it real quick because it's annoying. This conversation.
No, but that was a question. It was kind of like a question statement. I was just saying, like, you telling me that doesn't make sense though?
This is what's gonna happen, and this is what they do. People that think like that. You're gonna get your nice, wholesome woman. You're gonna get the responsible woman. You're gonna get the great mother, right? You're gonna get her, right? You're gonna get the kids. You're gonna get the house. You're gonna get the whole nine, right? But you're going to cut in and out with the hoes. You're going to be engaging in raw sex with the hoes. You might even have a baby on her with one of these hoes. The hoes are going to get the fun you, and the wife is going to get the responsibilities. Why is it fair that she has to, as good as she is as a woman, right? Why is it fair that she's with you? The only woman that loses in a situation, the only person that loses in a situation is the good woman. Why do you feel like you deserve that? Why? When you, at every single given chance, risk that woman for the hoe.
I
Which
agree.
to be true. Why do you think you deserve that? All you're gonna do is break her heart, waste her time, and then inadvertently not be a good father, not be a good provider, not be a good husband. Like for example, Derek Jackson. We all saw how he went out. We all saw how he went out. He had hoes coming to his house that his wife and his kids lived in, and having sex with these hoes. He was going out on birthday trips in Miami, renting out yachts, having the time of his life with these hoes. And where was his good woman sitting right there next to him, talking about some, yeah, the devil got into our relationship and we just lost sight of God. And I felt so bad for that woman because she's an actual good woman. And she probably believes the crazy stuff that she was saying. You know what I'm saying? He don't deserve her. Let her be with an actual good dude who has no interest in these hoes because they do exist. Why do you think that you deserve to be with these women? Why do
I'm
you
gonna,
deserve? Why?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I agree with you 100,000%. I don't agree with men dogging good women. I really don't. I'm not gonna even sit here and be like, oh, that's just a man thing. Don't get me wrong. I do think men are polygamous by nature, but this is a whole different conversation. But anyway, that does not. I don't, because even in polygamy, you have to treat the woman equally. It's not about dogging one. It's not about having a favorite one. It's about giving everybody equally. That's why the Quran says, if you cannot deal with all of them justly, then only have one. See, a lot of people don't talk about that, right? The Quran tells you that. It tells you you can have four, but if it also says if you fear that you cannot deal with all of them justly, then just have one.
I think
So
polygamy is a whole nother conversation, though. That's a
I
whole
no
nother.
no no. I'm not getting into the. That's why I'm not getting into that. But I'm just saying, even in polygamy, you have to give them all the equal stuff, right? So, but in back to the case, I feel like, yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree with men dogging good women. And I think, and I said this in the room the other day, I just think black people are psychologically fucked up. They need therapy, and they need help, because men do it to women and women do it to men, right? Women say there's not good men out here. Women say they throw that shit around all the time. There is good men, but you know what? That's not what get their coochie wet. That's not what turned them on, right? Because we are primal creatures, right? You want to be hunted. You want the savage beast, right? You want the vampire. You seen the story of Beauty and the Beast. She had the other dude trying to talk to her. She wanted the beast, right? And a lot of chicks are like that. They want that thug. They want that gangster that take risk. They want a certain type of man, right? So our women do the same thing. Women be picking the lowest of the low, right? To procreate with them, to and in the light of all the other men, right? Because whatever, for whatever reason, they say they're whack, they're boring, they're squares, they're this, they're that. And I think men do the same thing. We say we want this type of woman, we want this good woman, we want this, we want that, and we end up with the girls that we so call like consider annoying. She's not submissive. She runs her mouth. She does this. She's the low of the low. She's sleeping around. She's doing that little freaky thing with her tongue. Like this, we do the same thing. So I just think overall, um, we both do it in the black community. I think the men do it and the women do it. But I definitely agree. A lot of men do be dogging some nice women. Just like, but we talking about the men. And I think at the same time, also women do it to nice guys. That's why they always say nice guys finish last, right? I remember me and you said this to me one time. You was like, guys get their little heart broke early on, and then they become savages, right? Like they'll go from, and they don't even got to be early on. You can get your heart broken later on in life, and then these guys realize like, why the fuck you like Tyrone so much? Tyrone beat on you. Tyrone talks to you crazy. Tyrone don't do shit for you. You know what I'm saying? Tyrone got you evicted from one apartment. You know what I'm saying? Like men start to see this. We start to see you like the Pookie and the Ray Ray. But the difference is like, I don't know. I feel like the Pookies and the Ray Rays, that's who they are. And then you have the good guys, they try to become Pookie and Ray Ray. And it's like, yo, bro, you don't gotta do that. You could just go find somebody else. But yeah, I just think we all fucked up. Um, and I don't think it's fair. It's not fair for those women to be putting up with certain shit. And it's also not fair for the men to do it. So I definitely agree with you. I don't agree. I don't endorse dirtbag behavior. I also think, like somebody mentioned, somebody said someone a lot of those good women, they be knowing they be getting dogged. Like I feel like you said this too, right? I feel like women put up with more than men do, right? Like I feel like when it comes to certain shit, like you said, a girl will forgive a dude for cheating. She'll forgive a dude for doing certain things. Like she'll be like, "Oh, that's just what men do." She would say, she would tell herself certain things, and I don't think it's for the.
But that's a part of the culture, though. That's what men say about themselves. Men act like they're wild, rabid animals that cannot help themselves. Men say all the time, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man. This is what men do. I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man. Goes back to what you originally said about how you feel like men should be naturally polygamous, which I think is a bunch of bullshit. And I don't think that Western men ever should open up their mouths and talk about polygamy because nobody here practices polygamy. When Western men think about polygamy, they think oftentimes, how's this? How do Western folks think that they can sit around and talk about polygamy when we look at the Middle Eastern countries, when we look at Muslim countries, and we actively think that their women are being oppressed? But you into polygamy, but you don't
Oh no,
understand.
no, no. That's what I'm saying.
They
That's what I'm saying. That's not.
look at polygamy and they see sex. They see access to sex from different women. That's all that they see. And the actual purpose of polygamy is children.
And community.
Of marriage, community, and children. Exactly. The purpose of marriage in any entity is children. And the purpose of polygamy is children and building a community and having help from multiple different people. Nobody looks at polygamy and goes, oh my God, I can't wait to have all these kids with all these different women and raise my family. No, they just see 4 women, 3 women, 2 women, however many women they want as access to have sex to. That's what they see. They don't even see the responsibility. They don't even see what you just said, that what you get one woman, you have to get all the rest. They don't even see that. So I feel like you said, I think it's on both sides when it comes to this conversation about hoes, because women are like that too. There are women who will settle. I know how many women I know who have kids with ain't shit ass niggas and then get with a good dude right after who's stepping up, taking care of the step kids, boom, boom. But the minute that ain't shit baby father come around, or the minute that the next nigga come around with a big chain on his neck, she really want to be with him. But she gonna settle for the nigga that pay the bills. She gonna settle for the nigga that's helping her with her responsibilities because he's the good guy. But you don't deserve him.
Yeah.
So yeah, anybody who wants to dibble and dabble out with the hoes, that's why I said you should be with them. Forget the whole conversation on, oh, this is not the woman who I want to raise my children. That's what you deserve. It's not about what you want, that's what you deserve.
But
And
hold
take
on. Hold on though. But this whole conversation is about that the hoes are saving your marriage. They're saving your exactly. So basically you it's almost like are you in agreement with it?
I'm not in agreement with it, but I understand how it works.
Okay, okay.
Hoes can save your relationship. I can understand how a mistress can save your relationship, but I'm not in agreement of it. But a
All
lot of
right,
stuff going
so
on.
so question. All right, so somebody said nah, raw sex with hoes is disrespectful.
It happens all the time.
But but look, boom. So you're not in agreement with it. So so what would you rather? Would you rather your relationship will like fall apart, deteriorate, or would you rather like I we gonna blow some steam off and we gonna come back?
Run that question back again for me.
So based on what you said, your analogy of hoes save the relationship. You said I don't agree with it, but that's what happens. Sometimes our shit get boring. We need a little excitement. We need a little whatever. So I'm saying this. So what would you rather? Because you say you're not in agreement with it. Would you rather like the shit just blow apart? Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave that. Hold on, because somebody asked, "Do you consider yourself a good woman?"
I don't even want to answer that question. I don't even want to talk about me.
All right, cool. I mean, it was it's the viewers, man. They just want to know if you can. We're talking about good women and not so good women.
No
So some
disrespect to your question. I just don't want to talk about whether or not I think I'm a good woman or not.
okay. She don't want to answer the question, y'all. But look, so well, the question is, let your relationship deteriorate, or you rather like blow some steam off, right? Get that little excitement, you know what I'm saying? And then boom, we're like, we still gonna stay together though, and we still gonna hold it down because what we got is more important. Or are you just gonna be like, nah, like this is it. This is the end of the road, champ.
Sometimes it's the end of the road. Sometimes it's the end of the road. Sometimes you need to reevaluate what you're in the relationship for. Sometimes you guys have an end goal. Sometimes relationships stay alive because of children. Children will save a relationship because if at the end of the day your love for the children, y'all both love the children so much, that'll keep the relationship going. Y'all will not. There's people who will be in relationships not have sex for 6 months, and it's not that it doesn't cause contention. It's not that it doesn't cause problems, but their desire to have sex is not more important than their desire to have a family, than to raise kids. You know? So with that being said, it's just depending on the person. Sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes there is no saving grace in this relationship. And it is time for me and you to go before we cheat on each other and lie to each other and step out and dibble and dabble in that. Sometimes you guys have other things that will keep you guys together and prevent you from falling weak to temptation. And then there's other times where you can do that. I think it's depending on the person. I think it's depending on that relationship. I think oftentimes, women can accept it and women can accept men stepping out and doing what they're doing. And women can accept the concept of a man not caring about another woman. But I don't think men can accept that. I don't think that men can accept that. I don't think that it could ever be equal. I don't think that any man could ever really accept his woman being like, hey, you know, hey James, you know what I'm saying? Hey John, you know what I'm saying? I don't really I want to have sex with somebody else, you know what I'm saying? I love you, I care about you, I want to be with you. But I want to go have sex with Malik, and that's just what I want to do. And I think that men can accept that. I think men can accept that. I think oftentimes, women 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 can accept Sorry, can you see me?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um. So
Malik,
yeah,
you wanna
like,
go have sex with Malik?
huh?
You wanna go have sex with Malik?
Right. Men can't handle that. They can't handle that. They're not dealing with that. They can't handle that. Like, it's not happening. So yeah, I think a lot of times in those conversations, um, it's very rarely fair. It very rarely works out. So sometimes just go about your separate ways, or figure out what grounds your relationship and what is going to keep it alive. But on the real, that's what happens. I know a lot of people in this time period, are not in long term committed relationships. That's why even when it came to the commentary on Will and Jada, this is how I felt. Those people have been together longer than a lot of y'all people who were talking have been alive on this planet. Y'all have no idea what it takes to be with a person for 40 years. Y'all have no idea. And a lot of y'all, not only do y'all have no idea, y'all have never seen it in y'all lives. Your mother ain't never been with nobody that long. You ain't never been with nobody that long. You've never even seen that in your life, but you have so much commentary and you have so much opinions about long-term relationships and how that's going to work out, how that happens. Listen, you go be with a person for 10 years and tell me y'all don't have issues in whatever category, whether it comes to sex, whether it comes to finances, whether it comes to communication, whether it comes to just simply you being bored. People change and grow and evolve, and that never stops happening. From 10 to 20 you change, from 20 to 30 you change, from 30 to 40 you change, and sometimes the person who you're with, they change as well, but they don't change like this, they change like this and like this. But sometimes your investment that you put in it with this person, whether it be your kids, whether it be businesses, whether it be just be the things that y'all have went through with that within life, families, all types of stuff that you have connected with each other. You make the decision that, you know what, this is the person. Like y'all, the dynamic of the relationship completely changes. You decide that this is the person that no matter what you want to
Let
die
me
with.
ask you something.
You
Let
know
me
what I'm
ask you
saying?
something.
A
I
lot of
agree
people
with you.
don't.
Do you
A lot of people will never touch on that
do you
because a
feel
lot of
like
people can't laugh after 12 months.
do you feel like older people had more of what it takes to sacrifice than we do today?
No, I think we live in a different time period now.
But
I
that's what
think
I'm
it's
saying. I feel like when we hear about these long ass marriages, it's older people, right? So given what you said, I agree with you. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of I don't want to have sex with you no more, but I'm committed
I'm
because
telling you,
we
this online shit fucked up a lot of stuff. This Instagram shit, this Twitter shit, this do everything. Cause let me tell you something. Your shorty gonna do it for the gram before she do it for you. She gonna post a half naked pic on Instagram before she send it to you. That's real shit though. That's reality though.
that's
There's never,
crazy.
never in humanity, never in time. You know when girls say all it takes is to post a selfie? That's real. All it takes, if she's pretty, she's an attractive girl, all it takes for her to do is to post a selfie, 10 DMs. It's that simple.
Yeah,
And
but
then
I feel like
all it takes is for her to reply to the right one. That's
yeah, but
all it.
no, but look, it's not the
I
same thing.
older folks didn't grow up in that time period where they had that many distractions. We have so much distractions, and I agree with you. It is an illusion that it
Yeah,
is a. I agree with you on that. But that doesn't change the mindset of people.
it's really a drug though. It's really when you see the likes go up, it's dopamine that is
Dopamine,
firing in your brain, right? So it's just like snorting coke. It's just like eating sugar.
just like having.
So yeah,
Yes,
so this is what's really going on, right? Social media is a drug, and a lot of people are insecure, especially women, because standard beauty standards change all the time. So these women are insecure as fuck, right? When she feels down, she goes post a half naked picture, and she gets 1,000 likes and a lot of dudes. Ah, yeah. But anyway, we're coming down. We're for 59 minutes. The people would love to hear from you. Some people said they miss us. I don't know how long she here, y'all. I don't know how long she here, but definitely we appreciate y'all tuning in. We appreciate y'all in the comment section, keeping the thing going. Make sure y'all like the video, share it, and just keep the conversation going. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Any last things you want to say? Because I feel like I cut you off, but you were saying something about like yes, you feel like it's not the sacrifice, it's more so social media.
No, there's nothing really left that I have to say. Just that, yeah. I feel like, yeah, of course we could say that our older folks, are in these long term relationships and whatever, boom, boom. But they didn't struggle with the things that we struggle with. What you said is facts. That's science. Social media is literally drugs. That's why these young people is killing themselves over social media and over not having likes and stuff like that. These kids is being brought up on that social media stuff. If your boyfriend don't post you on social media, that's a problem in relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, having your partner on social media is an issue. You know what I mean? Because now you're looking at what they post, you're looking at what they don't post, you're looking at their likes, you look at who's in that. It just causes so much issues and so much problems. And they didn't have to deal with that. They did not have to deal with that. They had to deal with other things, but they didn't have to deal with that. So it's easy to say like, oh yeah, they just had it in them. They're just better than us. And nah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's both though. I think they had sacrifice, and I think today again because the illusion that we have options, the illusion that I can replace you, we be like, I don't need you. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's both. I think they were a little stronger. They were a little more committed to the kids, a little more committed to the situation. A lot of these people were super religious, right? So they held on to something from religion, right? So I think they had the courage, and I think that's kind of like what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody that's committed to the situation, not me. Don't commit to me. Commit to the situation. I'm saying because I'm gonna change, but the situation is going to remain the same. And Top Gunner, I keep telling you, you wilding, bro. Just chill, bro. Just chill. But what I was saying is, I think that's the biggest thing that I got from all of this. It's like if you want to make it work, I think you got to be committed to the situation and not the person. Because, like you said, people change. Some people change like this. Some people change like this. And I think that if you're committed to that person, when they change, you can't really handle that. You don't know how to deal with that. Um, so I think as long as you're committed to the situation, because the situation brings kids, the situations brings joy, it brings growth for both of y'all. It just brings a lot of stuff when you're committed to the situation rather than the individual. So any last thoughts?
No.
So yeah, we appreciate y'all. Y'all stay blessed. I don't know when she'll be back, but y'all have a good one. Y'all have a good night.